let's take some time to remember the humanity that we are seeing in the Montreal Canadiens and Buffalo Sabres second round series. Because throughout the course of the entire series, from game 1 to 2 to 3, there have been fights. A lot of fights. It's been a very aggressive series. Definitely not peaceful, and from an entertainment standpoint, obviously, this is awesome. We want to see teams go out there and beat the snot out of each other, metaphorically and maybe literally, depends on who you ask. And as a result, this has been the craziest few games that the Montreal Canadiens have played in, I'd say, the past few years, really. I mean, the Tampa series was pretty aggressive in its own right, and the fact that they were winning and losing every other game, it was definitely dramatic. The Washington series last year, I don't really think there reached any sort of an emotional or physical intensity in that series like what we are seeing in Buffalo. So, to see the Montreal Canadiens and the Sabres just beat the snot out of each other continuously, it's entertaining. Obviously, I hope nobody gets hurt, but it makes for some great TV. Now, with that said, I wanted to talk about a particular moment that was brought up in game number 2. This is what we had seen in Buffalo when a big scrum broke out involving some of the main characters that we generally tend to see about this stuff. And Puck Empire went out there and posted the video that went viral with 1.6 million views. During this pretty big scrum, Mike Matheson ends up on top of Zach Benson. And as the teammate of Buffalo's is falling over the group of guys, you can see that Matheson actually uses his elbow to cover up Benson's head and protect Benson from the impact. Puck Empire said, "I didn't notice this at first, but what an amazing move by Matheson to protect Benson there. You can criticize his play, but he is always a class act." And in fact, if you just continue on with the video, there is a skate that gets right near Benson's head from the Montreal Canadiens player. And right after that, you can see Matheson, he kind of bear hugs Benson's helmet there and really makes sure that it's protected and not kicked or not stepped on or anything. It's a really good guardian angel type of move, and there's a reason this video got 1.6 million views. It's a really good moment for the Montreal Canadiens defensemen. One of the replies goes out there and says, "Yeah, the amount of skates just floating around and jostling near Benson's head. I always liked Penguins Matheson. I respect him more now." Now, for me personally, as a guy who's a Montreal Canadiens fan second and a Vancouver Canucks fan first, even though it's true that Mike Matheson has proven himself as a very valuable personality in the Canadiens organization, from his willingness to take a lesser role because Lane Hutson is just better than him as a power play quarterback, to his willingness to take a lesser dollar amount to stick around long-term with the Canadiens, Mike Matheson is a Habs guy through and through, and seeing this class act of a move on Zach Benson of all people in Game 2 was a pretty great moment. And in fact, even Zach Benson replied to the entire thing. This is actually why we're making this video in the first place, by the way. This is the update. Priyanka Emrith posted about how Zach Benson, yesterday, was asked about Mike Matheson shielding his head in Game 2. It's a war out there, but when skates are flying around, obviously super good on him to protect my head. He doesn't necessarily say it. He doesn't directly give thanks, but he is acknowledging the fact that Mike Matheson just did a solid to a guy that was an absolute terrorizing force for Buffalo throughout the first few games of this series. But back to my original point, I wanted to say this. I'm a Canucks fan first and foremost, so even though Mike Matheson, in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the Canadiens fan base, and probably the collective NHL fan base, he has redeemed himself as a valuable NHL piece. For me personally, I still cannot forgive the Mike Matheson of old, because one of the other replies to this tweet talking about how Matheson protected Zach Benson's head, it goes over one of the past acts that Matheson did. Yeah, total class act. Yeah, right. This guy's a goof. And Travis ends up bringing up the fact that Mike Matheson, once upon a time, was a guy who body slammed a rookie Elias Pettersson after getting dangled to all heck as a member of the Florida Panthers. I mean, this is one of the craziest moments that, believe it or not, we were around making videos on YouTube back when this happened. But Mike Matheson, first, he gets dangled, and he ends up getting really embarrassed at the fact that he gets dangled, which leads to him doing this later on in the exact same shift. And the video that we made about this entire situation 7 years ago in 2018 when it happened, it was fiery, it was furious, and I had a pretty negative opinion about this dude ever since that had happened. And in my mind, even though Mike Matheson is a guy that has developed a certain set of skills, you know, he moves well, he's lanky, he defends well, he's active with his stick, he can score points as a power play guy. There are a lot of good things that Matheson brings, but in my brain, the fact that Elias Pettersson got injured from that play and had to be removed from the game, it just tainted my personal view of Mike Matheson for so many years. I was like, wow, this guy's a total goon. And yeah, goon means that. We're not talking about the other thing here. Refer to the old Batman video games. Mike Matheson's a total goof, and he was a goon that went out there and did the physical thing, hurting guys that embarrass him on the ice. And, you know, even when the Canadiens traded for Mike Matheson, I said in the video that we made, like, oh yeah, this is a physical guy. And a lot of y'all in the comments were like, wait a minute, no, that's not really what he is. He's more of a versatile, offensively flashy power play quarterback, not this physical brute like you're describing, Lego. And yeah, I'll say that I was wrong in my assessment of the trade 3 years ago. That definitely wasn't the right way to think about it, but at the same time, I was very deluded by my past emotions. But either way, maybe today is the right time to go out there and forgive Mike Matheson for the Elias Pettersson stuff, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not the bigger person. I'm very small. I'm 5'3", and we've got Zach Benson to go out there and give Mike Matheson the props that he potentially deserves because he protected the guy's head in Game 2. So, a good reminder to the humanity of this series and the fact that these are human beings playing hockey for a living, trying to beat the snot out of each other in the process whilst being a good sportsman. And maybe that's not going to continue, depends on who you ask, depends on what Zach Benson decides to do with his free time when he is not having the puck on his stick. I'm not going to pretend like Zach Benson has been clean as a whistle the entire playoff run. I think that situation with Charlie McAvoy speaks for itself. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Zach Benson responding to Mike Matheson, saying, yeah, the guy did a good thing by protecting me. He didn't say thank you, but it's almost like he did. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this British 9, and bye.